The words girls' trip had always been synonymous with joy in our house. For my wife Sarah, it was a sacred ritual, a weekend of wine, laughter, and decompression with her best friends, Jenna and Chloe. When she announced this year's trip to Napa Valley, I didn't think twice. I kissed her goodbye at the airport, her suitcase smelling faintly of her signature lavender perfume, and told her to have the time of her life. "I'll miss you like crazy," she'd said, her blue eyes sparkling. "Bring me back a good Cabernet," I'd called after her. That was Friday. The first crack in my perfect world appeared on Saturday night. I was watching a movie with our golden retriever, Buster, when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Sarah. "The sunset over the vineyards is unreal. Wish you were here. Love you." It was sweet, but something was off. The picture she sent was stunning, a vibrant orange sky over rolling hills, but it was a stock photo. I'm a graphic designer. I recognized the watermark from a photo site I use for work, faintly visible in the corner. Why send a stock photo? Maybe her phone camera was broken? I texted back, "Looks amazing. Send me a selfie of you three." A few minutes later, she sent a slightly blurry photo of her, Jenna, and Chloe, all clinking wine glasses. They looked happy. I brushed off the weird feeling. I was overthinking it. I loved my wife. I trusted her. My unease, however, refused to settle. On Sunday, I decided to surprise her by booking a fancy dinner for the night she got back. I called the Napa resort she'd mentioned they were staying at, the Vinters Estate, to ask about their restaurant. "I'm sorry, sir," the receptionist said politely. "We don't have a reservation under Sarah Miller, or a Jenna Peters, or Chloe Davis." My heart hammered against my ribs. "Could you check again, please?" I asked, my voice tight. She did. Nothing. "Maybe they're under a different name," I stammered, feeling foolish. "Perhaps, sir," she replied, her professional tone doing nothing to soothe my rising panic. I hung up, a cold dread seeping into my bones. My mind raced. Why would she lie about the hotel? I called my best friend David. He was the calm to my storm. "Dude, you're spiraling," he said. "There's gotta be a simple explanation. Maybe they switched hotels last minute. Don't jump to the worst-case scenario." He was right. I was being paranoid. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I was pulling at a thread that would unravel my entire life. Driven by a desperate need for answers, I did something I'm not proud of. I logged into our shared tablet and opened her social media. I felt like a trespasser in my own marriage. I scrolled through her friends' pages. Jenna's profile was private, but Chloe's wasn't. Her last post was from 3 days ago, a picture of her cat. Nothing about a trip to Napa. Then I saw it. In her tagged photos. A picture posted an hour ago by a guy I didn't recognize. The location tag wasn't Napa Valley, California. It was Cancun, Mexico. The photo was a group shot on a catamaran. There was Chloe, Jenna, and a few other people. And there, in the center, was Sarah. She wasn't just smiling, she was radiant, her head tilted back in laughter, her arm draped around a man's shoulder. His arm was wrapped securely around her waist, his hand resting possessively on her hip. It was Alex, her college ex-boyfriend. The one she told me was ancient history, the one she swore she hadn't spoken to in a decade. The air left my lungs. The room began to spin. It wasn't a girls' trip, it was a couple's trip. And my wife was part of a couple that didn't include me. I clicked on Alex's profile. It was public. The past 2 days were a gallery of my personal hell. Pictures of them doing shots at a beach bar. A video of them dancing, his hands roaming her back. And the final, soul-crushing image, a photo of them kissing under a palm tree, the setting sun behind them. The caption read, "Reconnecting with my one and only. Some things are just meant to be." I felt a physical pain, a gaping wound tearing through my chest. Every "I love you," every shared dream, every quiet moment we'd cherished, it all felt like a lie. David's advice to stay calm seemed like a cruel joke. I spent the rest of the day in a numb haze. The incriminating photos burned into my mind. When she walked through the door on Monday evening, she was glowing. "I'm back," she sang out, dropping her bags and rushing to hug me. I stood rigid as her arms wrapped around me. She pulled back, her smile faltering. "Mark, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." "How was Napa?" I asked, my voice flat, devoid of all emotion. "Oh, it was amazing! The wine was incredible, the scenery. You would have loved it," she gushed, oblivious. "That's funny," I said, holding up my phone and showing her the picture of her and Alex kissing. "Because it looks a lot like Cancun, and he looks a lot like ancient history." The color drained from her face. For a moment, she was speechless, her eyes wide with shock and guilt. The charade was over. "Mark, I can explain," she whispered. "Can you?" I shot back, the numbness replaced by a surge of white-hot anger. "Can you explain why my wife, the love of my life, lied to my face and went on a romantic getaway with her ex-boyfriend? Was our whole marriage a lie, Sarah? Was any of it real?" The tears started to fall then, streaming down her tanned cheeks. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she sobbed. "Alex reached out a few months ago. We started talking. It was just easy. He was planning this trip with his friends, and he invited me and the girls. I wanted to see if there was still something there. I was going to tell you, I swear." Her confession was a dagger, twisting in the wound. She hadn't just cheated, she had auditioned a replacement. Our marriage was on trial, and I was the only one who didn't know it. "So was there?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Is there still something there?" She couldn't meet my eyes. Her silence was the only answer I needed. I didn't yell, I didn't scream. I was hollowed out. I walked past her, up the stairs to our bedroom, no, my bedroom now, and pulled out a suitcase. I packed my clothes, my books, the few things that felt like mine anymore. Every object was a memory, now tainted. As I walked back down, she was sitting on the bottom step, her face in her hands. "Please, Mark," she begged, "don't go. We can fix this." I looked at the woman I thought I knew, a stranger in our home. "How do you fix this, Sarah?" I asked, the exhaustion finally hitting me. "You didn't just break a promise, you broke me." I placed my wedding ring on the hall table, its gold glinting under the light. Then I walked out the door, leaving behind the ruins of our life, and stepped into a future I never wanted and couldn't yet imagine.